Hello, everyone. Welcome to Financial Express. Today, we have with us Pankaj Jatar, Chief Executive Officer at Prion, the organization whose purpose is to impart digital skills to enable small and medium businesses to sell online. Jatar is an industry veteran with more than 2 decades of experience across global IT services and e-commerce firms such as Cloudtail, Amazon, and Accenture. As technology today has become a key enabler for small businesses, he is with us today to discuss how Prion is imparting digital skills to SMBs. So, Pankaj, I would like to start the conversation by setting the context. Digital skills is an overly abused word. From Prion's perspective, can you help us deconstruct what digital skills really mean and which are the most important ones for SMBs in today's times?
Sure, Sonal. So let me start by talking about what we do for SMBs, right? So uh, the most important thing we do for SMBs is help them become enabled in the e-commerce world, or become digitally enabled in the e-commerce world. So we help them come onto an e-commerce platform, namely Amazon, and we help them understand how to become successful in that platform. We help them digitize their products, so create a catalog of that. We help them understand the platform on what are the right keywords to use, how to get in front of customers. There are crores and crores of products. So how do you make sure your product gets seen when the customer wants to look for something like that, right? So those are the areas of digitization that we help with. Besides that, we help with using payment tools like Amazon Pay. So where we again help the SMBs kind of get onto the digital payment space through that area. Besides that, we again work with them on expanding their digital footprint, right? To figure out how can they get more of their products online? How can they utilize more e-commerce services than just the first step of selling from their own store, right? And getting onto and using other stuff that Amazon offers them, something like an easy store, which is a assisted shopping kind of environment that is available. Utilizing their own space for something called I Have Space, where they get involved in last mile delivery for Amazon stuff, products that are bought by customers, right? So those are the things we do. We help them get onto the digital world. We help them make the best of what tools they have available in that e-commerce digital world for them, and we help them expand their footprint so they can get more and more revenue using the same tools that are available to them. So that's kind of how I would deconstruct digitization. There's a lot more to digitization, but we play in the smaller e-commerce component of the digital world.
So, Pankaj, this is very interesting. So, first is you're saying that the focus then primarily will be on B2C firms. And then you're also saying that you not only help them get online, but you also help them expand their business model by, getting them involved with last mile delivery and also using these other services that Amazon offers. So, can you tell us a bit more about that?
So let me tell you two, three different things that a SMB could do in making money with the Amazon platform. Right. So the first one is where you just list your products and start selling them, right? And you start shipping it yourself. So you keep your product in your own store or warehouse and you ship it when a customer buys it on Amazon. The second is where you put it in an Amazon warehouse, right? That's called fulfilled by Amazon.
Yeah.
And that increases the customer's trust on the whole shipping part of it. And it gives the customer a very firm promise saying, you might have seen the thing which says, buy in the next 1 hour and get it by tomorrow, 5:30 p.m.
Right.
Right. So that is more likely, that promise is more likely to come up if your stuff is sitting in an Amazon warehouse.
Sure.
Right. So that helps you convert better. Right. So those are two things that you can do, just selling your normal stuff. The third thing you can do as an SMB is set up what we call a multi-seller flex, which is similar to an Amazon warehouse, but up country. Right. So in areas where Amazon doesn't already have a warehouse. So you set up a unit there and you onboard sellers who will then store their stuff in your multi-seller flex and sell to the Amazon world. And you get a commission from onboarding those sellers and every time something gets sold from your warehouse, right? So you create your own warehouse kind of a thing. Another thing you can do is you have a warehouse, you use that as your own Amazon warehouse effectively, right? And you stock your products there, get sold to the customer from your warehouse. If you have your own larger space, you could get involved in what you mentioned, the last mile delivery, which is a service called I Have Space.
Okay.
And the other thing we have is something called Easy, which is an Amazon Easy store. So you could create what is kind of a showroom. So customers are still used to shopping offline. They are still used to talking to a retailer when they shop, right?
Yeah.
So this is an assisted shopping model where the customer walks into your store, you take him to the Amazon.in store, right? And you show the customer how to shop.
Okay.
And the product can get delivered either to your store or to the customer's house, preferably to your store, because that still gives the customer the confidence that there is somebody here, right, who will take care of things. If I have a problem with the product, I can send it back because there is this retailer that I speak to every day, right? So those are all the different areas in which you could work with this one e-commerce platform and kind of have different revenue streams to help you out.
Okay, this is interesting. So, like now I would like to ask you, so MSME is this huge spectrum. It's an entirely a world in itself. So in terms of these different services that you offer, what can you help me understand what kind of services, which segment the uptake is more in which segment? And like if we look at micro, small, medium, so is it that the micro are more digitally savvy than the medium-sized players, or where the lag is more, just some maybe anecdotal experience would also help.
Sure. So it's not the size of SME so much as which part of the country they are located in.
Okay.
So tier 2 and tier 3 SMEs have adapted to e-commerce quite a bit, right? And smaller the towns, the slower the adoption. That's what we've seen. But what we've seen in the last few months, especially during the pandemic, is they have really had a lot of issues with the basic supply chain, right? So some of them who've been working in, say, clothing, etc., right? So they are finding it difficult to get raw material, or they're facing lockdown because clothing is no longer seen as essential. So you're seeing a shift of some SMBs to becoming essential sellers, right?
Okay.
And creating new product lines or doing something very different from what they did before, because the pandemic has created a whole new reality.
Right.
So, for example, we had a Jaipur seller who was selling traditional clothes, and he's moved to selling comfort wear, and he is using Jaipuri prints in comfort wear.
Okay, I can't imagine how that would look, but interesting.
Well, customers loved it, right? So
wow, okay,
what's happened is, so this guy had a weekly sale of between 8 to 10 lakhs, and he's gone up to about 30 odd lakhs now. Because of just changing, adopting to the new reality, right? So over the last year, comfort wear has become far more popular than it was.
Definitely.
And SMBs are amongst the highest jugaad folks that we have in the country, right? And they're very quick to adopt things. And similarly, they're quick to adopt technology. So as and when we introduce something new, we see SMBs picking up and running with it very quickly, right? So especially, so we have a partner in Surat who all the things that I described just a few minutes ago on the different ways you could work with Amazon. So he works with all of them, right?
Okay.
And he is really forward thinking, and he's amongst the first persons to adopt anything new that we come up with, right? So there are, so across different pockets, you have people who are very quick to adopt technology. At the same time, there are people who struggle with it, right? Okay. So in one of the areas we work very closely, it's a program called Karigar, right? Which is, we work directly with artisans across the country, or we try and impact artisans across the country, right? So that's an area we've typically seen people struggle with basics like image, getting high quality images for their products, right? And they also sell products where images are more important, right? You are selling a product which
the craft products.
It's a craft, right? It's handmade. It has a design to it. It has a visual element to it, and the quality of image makes a big difference when a customer is looking to choose whether to buy or not. So in these cases, what we've done is we've taken the cost of imaging for them, right? We've said you can employ a local person to do that imaging, and we will give you a list of people that you can employ from there, or we'll send someone from our side to do that photo shoot. Now, we've been doing that for some time, but through the pandemic, of course, it's been harder to achieve that kind of a thing. But that's an area where, again, when we've seen that a particular category of SMBs is struggling, we kind of go one step further and help them out over there. So those are things. The other thing we've done is simulations, right? So the whole e-commerce platform as a new seller can be intimidating, right? There are multiple panels. There are pop-ups which come up which tell you that, hey, you need to look at your pricing. There's a pop-up which comes up, you're running out of stock. You need to clear your stock. So as a new seller to the marketplace, it's likely that you will get overwhelmed by this and you will not be able to reconcile some of these things with your day-to-day business. So we've created simulations to help new sellers understand how the whole marketplace works and what do they need to do on, say, Seller Central, on how do they create a new product, how do they price it, and how do they reconcile things once things sell. So, and that we've seen helping SMEs quite a bit when they come onto the platform as new sellers.
And also, what is the role of language? I mean, is that also something that, have you also worked on that? Because especially as you're mentioning, like artisans, tier 3, tier 4 places, that's also another critical element.
So there's two ways we are working on this. One is we have a sales force which is national, right? So we have a presence in 11 odd cities and we cover about 150 cities across the country, 700 plus people on rolls plus contractors, right? So therefore our aim is to be local wherever we can, right? And so we have people in West Bengal who are from West Bengal and they talk to artisans and they connect in the local language. So that's one part of it. The other part, the whole simulation thing that I just spoke to you about, as we went more up country, right? What we realized is uptake of simulations was coming down, right? And the reason for that was the language, right? So you picked it up very correctly, that it is, language becomes a barrier if you stick to only English or only Hindi for your simulations. So that's our next phase of development. Right now, we are working on creating simulations in vernacular languages. So we'll start with 3 or 4, and then we'll, as uptake improves, we will spread it across more languages. And that's work in progress.
But when you say simulation, so is that essentially like a virtual reality kind of some software that actually does like training and you can just watch those videos and learn on your own? And is that also something that has changed after the pandemic?
So it's something that we were doing before pandemic also, but it's just the number of sellers who are now interested in e-commerce has gone up. And therefore the uptake of simulations has increased since pandemic. And it is, it's not as complicated as virtual reality. It's just still a screen that you interact with, but it represents the exact same screen you would see as a seller on Amazon, right? So it helps you understand all the different parts of the screen that you would interact with. It helps you figure that in relation to your business, right? So as a new seller, it helps you understand the different parts of the screen you need to interact with. How do you figure out where my inventory is? How do you figure out what my pricing should be? How much money am I making? So all of those questions you can answer by interacting with the simulation. So that's the whole idea.
And Pankaj, I would like to take you back to this earlier point where you said that, certain entrepreneurs just adopt technology very quickly. So is it more about, like, is it that they are those children of first gen promoters? Is that where the, digital adoption is much higher, or it is just a personal, a characteristic where people who are just very comfortable with using technology, even if it's the promoter himself or herself?
I think it's a bit of both, right? So, and things have changed over, so I've been in e-commerce for about 10.5 years now. Right. So about 8-9 years ago, when I was first launching sellers in the sports category, when I went to, say, Jalandhar Meerut and I met the seller there, they would be like, they would call their kid, right, their son or daughter, and say, "Beta yahan aana, ye log e-commerce wale aaye hain." They would not, they would kind of be at an arm's length distance saying, "I won't get what this thing is. This is all new stuff." But now when you talk to an SME, it's the same person. Right? It's the same guy who was there 10 years ago, but now he understands it. He uses WhatsApp a lot more. He understands how to do business. He's adept with taking photos with his phone and sharing it. So I think the whole sector of SMEs, entrepreneurs, they themselves have moved up the digital adoption curve, right? And they are much more adept at using technology now than they were a few years ago. And a lot more tools have come into play. Plus, more than anything, they've seen that this is a good opportunity and it is here to stay, right? Some of these e-commerce players are not fly-by-night operators. It's here to stay, and there is a real opportunity and there's real business involved here, and which then helps them adopt and come up the curve. So yeah, it's changed over the years, but it's the same guy who's now more adept at technology.
And when you talk to these SMBs now, what is the perspective that you get? Are these people thinking about कि बस online करना है, or they're also thinking about कि अब online तो कर लेंगे, पर how do I increase my revenue? How do I reach out to probably internationally or even nationally? How do I sell? So are these conversations also happening?
Yes. So in fact, one of the services we provide is global selling. Right. So as a seller in India, you can also sell on different platforms of Amazon across the world.
Right.
And we are enabling sellers from here to sell on UK, on .com. And those conversations are definitely happening. Right. So sellers are interested, but it's a learning curve. Right. So, and it starts with first getting onto the platform and starting selling your first products and making them available, learning all the systems, and growing as a business, right? And each of them is a step. So once you do a few things, then you start doing more and more of that. So something like global selling, where you're selling your products a few 100,000 miles away, right? Those are probably what mature sellers would do. That's not what would be the starting step for a lot of sellers. Right? You would first come onto the marketplace, you would understand how the whole thing works, and then you start doing that. Because winning in a marketplace with crores of more products than what are available in India is going to be that much harder, right? And you need to really understand how each of those things works before you're able to succeed. So we see that conversation. We see sellers being on a continuum of maturity, as it were, right? So you start small, start with a few products, then start using more and more facilities that Amazon provides you. And then you kind of spread your wings and say, okay, I want to go global. I want to set up my own warehouse and do all of those things as well.
So can you share some numbers? So, if we look at these array of services, and if I see that like just coming online as the, at the lowest base, because that is now a need, for survival. And then if I look at being a logistics player or a warehouse, hub for Amazon as the upper end of services. So, what kind of, in all the SMBs that you work, what percentage are there at the lower rung, and how much are there at this upper end?
So it's not really lower and upper in that sense, right? Because the providing the warehouse thing, multi-seller flex. So that's something that's actually available in up-country areas only, right? Because Amazon warehouses are not there, and therefore we need space to do that kind of a thing. Otherwise, Amazon warehouses cover most of the country.
Sure.
So it's a different scale. It's not like a continuum in that sense. But in terms of number of SMBs, we've onboarded more than 1 lakh SMBs on to the marketplace as sellers.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah. And this year we will be onboarding close to 1 lakh again, right?
So almost like 100% jump.
More than that, in fact.
More than that,
the lakh was over the last 2-3 years. So every year we are increasing quite a bit. And we've account managed upwards of 2 lakh sellers over the last 7 odd years.
Account managed?
So that's a service we provide, where once you've come on board as a seller, right? Depending on how well you're doing, right? We will invite you to the account management program. So it's a free program from our side, where we help you grow your business. So once you've reached a certain scale, there are inputs that will help you become even bigger. There are inputs that will help you understand what works better, what doesn't, etc. Right? And how to think about products. So like the Jaipur seller example I gave you, the input to him saying, hey, comfort wear is really popular and you should think about what you can do. So the creativity was his, right? But the input saying, this is an area where you are not playing in, and you should explore to see whether you can make products in this space. That was an input that the account management team gave him. Similarly, there's a seller called BoldFit, who has, like the name suggests, fitness equipment. Right? And again, he was doing, say, 30 odd lakhs a month till pandemic hit. Post-pandemic, because all his fitness equipment is smaller things. They're not gym equipment. They're home kind of fitness equipment. Right? The team very quickly gave him recommendations saying, hey, introduce a yoga mat, introduce all the other things that people can use at home. Right? And he is now getting a revenue of 2 crores a month from that 30, 40 lakh kind of a space. Right? And again, one is giving the inputs. Two is, of course, the guy has to be good enough to take those inputs and implement them and make a good business out of it. So those are the things that the account management team does. It gives
like a
input.
Consultancy, essentially, for small businesses.
It is exactly like that, right? In fact, we have started exactly that service this year, where we are giving consultancy to brands who want to become direct-to-consumer brands. So we're currently working with, I think, 4 brands who are in the space of direct-to-consumer space. And we are just helping them understand the platform, understand what kind of products will help them succeed, and how to go about the whole thing. And we are seeing good success with them already. It's just a 2-month-old program. And this is a pilot, right? Once this succeeds well, then we will launch it as a larger program across more brands.
So what kind of companies are these? Are these like offline companies that are, like making some namkeen or ice cream for the market? What kind of vendors or businesses are these?
In the D2C space, one of them actually makes clothes. He makes shirts for men. And he has an innovative new product, which is, it looks like a shirt, but you wear it like a t-shirt. So you kind of put it from the top, but it looks like a formal shirt. Right? And that seems to be quite popular. And he's using that and then putting together a whole line of products in the men's garment space. One of the other brands is a health food brand. So using purely organic ingredients and creating instant health food mixes. Right? So that's what that brand does. So it's across the spectrum. It's in clothing, in consumables, in consumer electronics, so in all spaces.
Okay. One question, Pankaj, I would like to also ask you is that now with, rise of online and, one of the things that we're also seeing is the rise of micro-entrepreneurship. And a lot of mompreneurs and all these homepreneurs, very interesting words and terminologies are coming up. So do you think it can also be a game changer for women?
Absolutely. So there is another program we work on called Saheli, which is to help women entrepreneurs, right? And it's not one-on-one women entrepreneurs that we work with. It's more, we would work with, say, the Army Wives Welfare Association, right? So the idea is to impact at scale more and more women entrepreneurs as possible. So I agree with you, right? So this e-commerce is definitely a game changer for those who want to start small and those who want to start on their own, right? And what you can sell, it's limitless. You can sell almost anything that you can find a customer for.
Yeah.
Right? And there's an old success story on Amazon.in of a housewife who started selling toys, and she's become one of India's large toy sellers, right? Just on Amazon, and she's pulled her whole family into it because the business became so successful that everyone else then started contributing, and what was just a hobby for her to start with. So it's definitely going to change the shape of things. It will also help a lot of people become financially independent by using e-commerce as a stepping stone towards that, right? So you don't have to go find a distributor for your product to get to a customer.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to go to a retailer to ask him to stock your product or go stand at exhibitions to sell your product. You go online and instantaneously it's a national available product, right? Anyone in the country can buy your product.
Yeah.
Again, the kind of impact we are creating with artisans, where so far their product was available in a radius of 4-5 kilometers, but now it's across the whole country, right? You could be an artisan in one part of the country and your products are available everywhere. So definitely it's a game changer, and it will create a large impact across the micro SME platform as well.
So Pankaj, my last question would be, like one of the very obvious questions about the future. How do you see, digital skills will impact SMBs, and what will be its role overall in the nation building? And what do you see how it will contribute to even the whole entrepreneurship culture in the country?
So, seeing the future is not possible. If anything, the pandemic has humbled all of us who wanted to see the future. But
journalists love these questions, so they want forward-looking statements.
Sure. So what I can tell you is the spirit of entrepreneurship is very much alive and kicking, right? So irrespective of what's happening to the economy, what's happening to jobs, etc., we are seeing more and more people being gung-ho and enthusiastic about adopting e-commerce, right? So last year, this time, when we were still kind of grappling with the first lockdown and trying to understand how it's going to impact our business, right? That's when we started seeing how entrepreneurs are reacting. And a lot of them were enthusiastic about adopting e-commerce. Right. And because they realized that being dependent on one store, being dependent on one location is not a good idea in the long run. Right? You need to expand and figure alternative ways of revenue, where if geographically you're constrained, you're still able to reach customers. Right? And e-commerce lets you do something like that. So definitely the spirit of entrepreneurship is alive and kicking. SMBs are inventing, innovating, and adopting technology, whatever makes sense, and coming on to digital platforms, not just an Amazon kind of platform, right? You will see them selling on WhatsApp, you will see them selling on Facebook. So definitely they're adopting all kinds of avenues for reaching customers, and it's live and kicking. So all I can say is in the future, it's just going to be even more so, right? There will be interesting new technologies coming in, and SMEs will be amongst the first to adopt those technologies. And we'll be there to support them wherever.
Great. So Pankaj, anything else that you would like to add? That was all from my side. Any last comments?
Not really. I think, like I said, it's great fun working with SMEs, right? It's good to see the kind of entrepreneurial spirit that they bring to the table. It's great to see some of the innovations that they come up with. Many times we've been blind to those kind of innovations, and it's when we talk to someone in the SME sector is when we realize, oh, this could also be possible. And we learn from them, right? As much as we help them, there's a lot that we learn from them as well on how e-commerce will be more successful. So looking forward to more and more working with this sector and growing together.
Great. Thanks a lot, Pankaj, for your time. And great insights about the entrepreneurship ecosystem, how it is going to make our country more inclusive, bring more women into the workforce, how it is going to be a game changer for the country. Thanks a lot. That was very interesting discussion, and I look forward to more such discussions in the future.
Sure. Thanks a lot. Nice talking to you.
Same here.